In this video, we will discuss the process for inspecting and maintaining globe valves. Globe valves are the more common valves used in cryogenics processes and with industrial gases, installed in bulk tanks, micro tanks, and transport equipment such as trailers, pipelines, and ASU plants. The maintenance of the valve warranties the proper operativity of the valve and the safe operation. For this reason, RegO has developed this training video to show the best practices to apply during the inspection and maintenance of globe valves. The information supplied in this module is not intended to conflict with federal, state, or local ordinances and regulations. These should be observed at all times. Inspection and maintenance on a periodic basis is essential. Only qualified personnel should perform installation and maintenance. The inspection period and process of the valves depends on the application, service conditions, environment, and regulatory requirements. Many visual inspections can be accomplished without disassembling the valve. The primary inspection points are the packing system, the bonnet gasket, the body, and the bonnet. One of the tools for this inspection is a leak detector solution. You should only use a solution designed for this application. It should bubble when it comes into contact with a component where a leak is located. You will use this solution while the valve is operating under normal conditions. During this inspection, verify that the valves do not have these conditions. Any signs of corrosion due to water, salt, industrial pollutants, chemicals, and roadway contaminants. Any physical damage that would prevent the proper sealing or that may cause product failure under pressure. Leaks in the valve bonnet area or between the body and end connections of the valve. Warning: the presence of any of these conditions could impair proper operation of the valve and result in serious injury, property damage, or both. Do not check for the torque value of the bolts, as checking bolt torques can cause loosening of the bolts. You should note that it is recommended to retorque bolts only if a leak has been detected. Warning: only qualified personnel should perform installation and maintenance. Be sure all instructions are read and understood before installation, operation, and maintenance. These instructions should also be passed on to the end user of the valve. Caution: avoiding the inhalation of or skin contact with compressed and cryogenic gases is advised. Many of these gases can cause asphyxiation, serious injury, or death. See the safety data sheet for specific information regarding the safe handling of the service gas. Evacuation of the gas should take place in a well-ventilated area to ensure dispersion. Keep gases far away from open flames or other sources of ignition to prevent fire or explosion. The maintenance period and the process of the valves depends on the application, service conditions, environment, and regulatory requirements. In the absence of a preventative maintenance plan, the recommendation is to disassemble the valve a minimum of every 10 years to inspect the internal condition of the components and to replace as necessary. It is recommended that genuine RegO parts are used. Now let's review the maintenance steps for the seat and the gasket. First is disassembly. You must evacuate all gas from the system before any disassembly or repair. To do this properly, open the valve by turning the hand wheel counterclockwise until the stem back seats in the lower bonnet to release any trapped gas. Caution: do not apply force after the valve is fully open. Next, using the appropriate wrench, remove the bonnet screws with a counterclockwise motion. Carefully lift the top works from the body. Caution: do not scratch or mar the seat area in the valve body while doing this. Now remove the seat assembly from the stem by the means of a T-slot configuration. Discard the seat disc assembly. Remove and discard the gasket from the body. Finally, inspect the valve body and clean it if necessary. Be sure that the interior is free of debris, residue, and foreign particles. Moving on now to the upper packing disassembly. Remove the hand wheel nut and the hand wheel. With the same motion as closing the valve, remove the stem from the bonnet and the tube assembly. Clean and inspect the stem. It is advised that you wrap the stem in a clean, soft, lint-free cloth until assembly to prevent damage to the stem. Loosen the bonnet nut by turning it counterclockwise with an appropriate wrench. Remove the bonnet nut. Remove the old packing, being careful not to scratch the packing bore. Caution: if the packing bore or stem has become scratched, it is recommended that they be replaced. When scratched, these components do not function as designed and may cause serious injury to the user. Now to reassemble our valve. If the stem and the packing bore are in good condition, clean the packing bore with an approved cleaning solution for the service of the valve. Referencing this diagram, assemble the packing into the packing bore. Note, you will alternate the packing and separator, followed by the gland follower and the bonnet bearing. Put the gland follower, then the bonnet bearing onto the stem. Place the packing washer and the springs onto the stem. Thread the stem into the bonnet and through the packing. Note that the springs must be installed correctly. Place the bonnet nut onto the assembly. Install the hand wheel and the hand wheel nut. Snug the hand wheel nut to the stem. Install the globe seat assembly and turn the hand wheel counterclockwise to back seat the globe. Place a new gasket into the body, followed by the bonnet. Start the bonnet screws into the body, securing the bonnet to the body, and finger tighten the bonnet screws. It is advised to tighten the bolts in a crisscross manner. Following the torque settings listed here, apply a series of torques to the bolts. In other words, you will torque all the bolts to the first value, then torque them again to the second value, and finally the third value. After the final bolt is tightened using the crisscross pattern, return to each bolt in a circular pattern and continue tightening until the torque value in the final column is achieved. Do not exceed the torque indicated. Tighten the bonnet nut until it cannot be turned any further. Mark the position of the nut with respect to the bonnet. With an appropriate wrench, turn the nut counterclockwise 330 degrees. Then repeat the previous step. In the final turn, the nut will be turned less than one full revolution, again to 330 degrees. It is essential to complete these final steps to ensure that the packing is properly set. Pressurize the valve and check for leaks. Adjust the bonnet screws and the bonnet nut accordingly if leaks are found.